Hi, my name is Jasmine Rosten-Edwards. My business is called Oneoffto25. I work in the art industry and I'm an art gallery owner. First question, tell us about your role and company. My company operates online and I sell limited editions, open edition prints, sculptures, some vintage pieces, but they're mainly contemporary. I also work with emerging and established artists to give them a platform to sell their work. The principles behind my business are about it being sustainable. So print runs are not in mass produced editions, and that feeds into my art curation and art sourcing service, which I can do for domestic or business clients. I would say, with regards to the industry I operate in, it's crucial to understand really salient things because your business is online. One of the things is about brand representation and what your ethos is, what you actually stand for, because people are buying your products before they've actually seen them. So they've got to buy into your brand and what it is you're actually selling. When you start to drill into the details, then you need to think about distance selling regulations. There are lots of legal things you have to do when you're selling to customers or clients remotely. You also need to understand about the market value of artwork and how to price it. That's absolutely crucial because the art market is complex, dynamic, which means it's constantly changing. You have to adapt and evolve to be able to weather those changes. You need to understand about copyright protection, artist contracts, marketing, strategy management. You need to understand about data protection. You might also need to have specialist insurance, courier services, how to analyze sales figures. There are a raft of skills that you will actually need in order to run a business online, whether it's a creative one or not. Question two. What attracted you to the role and the industry? This is an easy one for me. I've always been creative. I can paint and draw myself, but I've always wanted to have an art gallery itself. I saw how much the contemporary art market was changing, and it wasn't so much about having a bricks and mortar property, it was about how normalised it had become for people to buy art online. And it's about understanding that transition, how people buy, and complex market forces. I monitored the contemporary art market for a very long time before I decided to set up my business. So I would always advocate that you do your research beforehand. So I looked at prices, I looked at artists who were doing well, and I looked at the trends and saw what was happening. I bought and sold art as well before I did it professionally, so that I had a very good grounding in terms of the type of things that I actually wanted to do, pardon me. Question three, what pathways are there to get into the role? I would say there are no definitive pathways to get into the job I have because I effectively created it myself. Having said this, I did spend a long time in the corporate world beforehand. I worked in human resource management, which is great for people handling skills. I worked in IT management, which is great from a technical point of view. I also worked in project management, so you understand how to bring projects in time and on budget, and working with a lot of different people in different roles. It means you have to be very flexible. I also worked in facilities management. I would say you don't need to have any formalised qualifications, but you do need to have a raft of skills to fall back on. I've got a couple of degrees. One of them happens to be in business, which really does help from a strategy and a fiscal point of view. It's not essential, but I think it could really help you if you wanted to set up your own business. Question four, what key qualities are employers looking for? Or in my case, what would you need to survive in the job role? I would say it's essential that you're knowledgeable and you understand about any creative industry that you want to go into. It's important to know who the market leaders are. It's crucial to know who your competition is. Competition's not a bad thing because it actually tells you if there's a need or there's a demand for a product in the first place. but it's good to know what your competitors are doing. Don't be naive in terms of thinking that you're going to go in and set up a business up and it's going to be very successful. Competition is something that you face in every aspect of your life, and it's how you deal with it more than anything else. I would say in terms of key qualities that you actually need for the job that I have is the ability to not only communicate, but it's your ability to write well. This makes a massive difference if you're writing terms and conditions for your business, because that is actually a legal requirement, and it's something that is crucial. It's the backbone of what you actually do, and it's what you'll be held to account for. It's also imperative for writing artist contracts. You need a framework to decide how you're going to work together. It's also important if you want to do marketing or advertorials or advertising campaigns. Don't underestimate the power of your ability to write, because it's something you'll be called upon time and time again. I've also been asked to write blogs or to write features in magazines, and sometimes those deadlines can be very, very short. So your ability to turn around things quickly and to talk to people in a way that they can relate to can be really key for your business and make a huge difference. Question 5. Describe a typical day or week at work. To answer this question, I wouldn't say that I have a typical day. That's simply because of the nature of the business that I deal with, but there are certain things that I would do on a regular basis. One of the things I'm very, very, I suppose, determined or consistent about is drilling into the sales figures. So every day I will go and analyse my web stats to see what activity has taken place, i.e. what are people buying, what are they looking at, because that makes a huge difference in terms of any marketing or advertising you actually want to do. Beyond that, it can become very bureaucratic, because you'll be processing orders, you'll be chasing orders, you'll be dealing with couriers, you might have to deal with specialist insurance claims. It depends upon the nature of it. I always spend a lot of time liaising with the artists I work with, so it's more of a relationship as well. It's not just a transactional one. It's not just about sales. So we'll talk about sales promotions or campaigns that we can do that will be effective. Sometimes we'll plan for the future, sometimes it will be very short term, but it's always good to have a strategy and things to work towards. I constantly update the website and monitor my stock inventory levels. I think that's to do with the fact that we live in more of an immediate society and people want to see new things all the time. So it's something that you not necessarily have to pander to, but it's something you have to be conscious of, what you're showing people in terms of your business and what they can actually access. Last question, and a bonus question. What key advice would you give to your 16 or 17-year-old self? Now this is a good one, because when I was 16 or 17, I didn't necessarily know what I wanted to do. Okay, I did A-levels and I did follow an academic path thereafter, but I think it's about having that inner resilience and determination. If you really want something, you can achieve it. Absolutely, you can achieve it. I think it's no bad thing to have many jobs before you get to where you want to get, because they will lay the foundation stones for what you end up doing that you love. And if you can find something that you love, trust me, that is literally one of the best things in life. The other thing I'd say, always have a plan B. I'm a big one for having a plan B. So in this case, it could be that you've got qualifications to fall back upon. When you go into a creative industry, it is a bit of a niche industry. There are not lots and lots of jobs. So you have to be able to think, if things don't go right and things are going wrong, you've got something to fall back upon, whether that's a plan B or some form of formal qualifications. And I would say that's it. Thank you so much for listening. Bye.